Welcome, everyone, to today's coverage of the Indy Karting Challenge from Whiteland, Indiana, as we get ready to get through qualifying. Again, we're in the AM groups for those tuning in here on Kart Chaser, currently working to get to the racetrack. As today, it's going to be a busy morning for the season finale here for the Indy Karting Challenge from Whiteland Raceway Park. This morning, the 206 Supermasters. You have the Micros, the Minis, the 206 Heavy, the KA Junior, and the 206 Light. So far, for those tuning into our coverage today, we've had 4 of the qualifying groups complete their runs so far this morning. We'll see the pictures of the racetrack in just a few moments. But these drivers have had a busy morning so far here on Kart Chaser, and it should be a busy time, Caleb, as we get ready to see those karts on track in the midst of their qualifying.
Yeah, first of all here, Justin, good morning to you and good morning to everybody out at Whiteland, Indiana. I know it's always a great time whenever we are able to come out here and enjoy some good club racing. Justin, I know you've been here a little more than I have. I've done one of the prior races earlier on this year, but it's always good to see these drivers having to put in these laps. And this is the best thing, I think, for me personally about Whiteland, Indiana. The last time that I was actually working one of these events, we were in the opposite direction, and the layout was different, and the variety of layouts that we can use at this racetrack is one of the best things for me week in, week out. So it's going to be interesting day for racing, and we're definitely excited to get it going.
Absolutely. Here we're in the midst of KA Junior qualifying. For those wondering what's going on the racetrack, Ryan Mort currently sitting the top time in the session with about a minute to go for Evan Patton, Thomas Anthony, Dane Van Dyke, Mason Gallion, and Lucian Laser and AJ Stoner at the bottom of the pylon. The interesting thing about this weekend's festivities, though, with it being the finale and also with it being the holiday time pretty soon, there's an extra bit on the line, so to speak. It's the annual turkey race. And in that regard, the winners of each of the races today for the podiums will receive a turkey. The remainder of each podium will be rewarded a chicken and a Cornish game hen, respectively, for their holidays to be able to have. So in our words, a chance to have some holiday dinner on the line, so to speak, for the races today.
It's always good to race with incentives here as well. So that'll be cool to see how everybody who gets awarded the turkeys and whatnot. But like you said, still Ryan Mort at the top of the timing charts here, 46.508, keeps him at the top with Gallion right behind him, Patton in third, Van Dyke fourth, and Laser your top 5 in this KA Junior qualifying session. And checkered flag is out, so they will work their way into the pits this time around. So provisional pole position goes the way of Ryan Mort now, as they will work their way into the pits here shortly.
So they look to close out the session already. Most drivers across the checker flag. Of note, the champion already coming into this weekend based on points already a lock. Landon Booher not here today. So that's going to open up an opportunity for some of these drivers to pick up some race wins. Again, the 820 card came into this weekend up by more than 400 points, just about. The max points you can get 250 in a round. Now, before we get into the next qualifying grouping, let's quickly run down how the rest of the qualifying has gone so far in the midst of getting things steady ready. The Supermasters, William McLaughlin will start on the pole for that class later on today. Tom Harlan and Danny Cutshaw, Richard Lowe and Jason Irvin round out that top 5 for 206 Supermaster. For the Micro, 5 karts in that series. Fox, James Fox, over Grayson Waite, Patrick McNeely, Titus Guzman, and Diesel Maxwell was how they qualified. In the Mini earlier, Danny O'Gara qualified over Austin Taylor, Dalton Sears, William Feinsteiner, and Andrew Avalos in the top 5. And rounding out the rest of the groupings, 206 Heavy, as just mentioned. Once those who qualified earlier, Scott Hamble over Evan McCorkledale, and Matt Geis, Brian Williams, and Kyle Landon were the top 5. Our last qualifying grouping is on the racetrack, though, Caleb. 206 Light rounds out this morning's competition. And the Lights led in the point standings by Elijah Fox throughout this season. Fox is in a tight battle because he had 0 points in his heat race and only a 14th place to show for his efforts last time out in round 11. That's opened up the championship for drivers like Levi Wilbur, who picked up multiple points, more than 150 just about, to close up. And Brayden Johnson, who's also in the conversation today for this finale.
Yeah, there's a lot of drivers that have definitely come out here out of Whiteland, Indiana. Eli Fox, one of the ones that you mentioned. We saw him earlier on this year at Cup Karts North America Grand Nationals for that event. And again, more of the names. Fike Tinger that you talked about earlier on today. The same for Daniel Guerra was the driver who found himself fighting inside of the top 10 in that race. And that's one of the marquee events that we have for the 206 classes. So to see this level of driver come out of Whiteland, Indiana is definitely one of the coolest things to see, and see them go at it here at their respective club is going to be interesting as well. Eli Fox not out there on the racetrack yet, so we'll see how that kind of plays out there for Eli Fox, and I'm not sure if he's here this weekend either, so he's not populating on our timing chart, so that'll be something to look out for here. But as it stands, early on this morning, first couple of laps getting set to go underway, and Braden Heber top of the timing chart so far in his opening lap of 54.692. Again, not relative for now. We're going to expect that time to continue to dwindle down.
Heber's been competitive the past few weeks. He's been on the podium just about every single race he's ran since round 8. He's been also one of the top practice getters so far. But you are right about Fox and Wilbur not on the timing sheet so far. Levi Wilbur just popped up on the sheets, in fact, in the 6th position with his first lap after a delayed start for him on the qualifying session. But if Fox is not here indeed, that opens up the championship, because Wilbur and Johnson's separation in the standings, just 5 points. It could come down straight up to how they race this morning to decide who the champion is, if there is no 01 kart for this field today.
Yeah, we'll see how it all turns out here. Lap times continuing to come in here. Heber, 52.433. Johnson moving up. Same goes for Howerton as well, going up to 2nd. Kelly up to 4th, and a couple of others as well continuing to put in lap times. Baird now crossing the line as Lund crosses now. His lap time continuing to change, and this timing chart from just outside of our top 3 here, Justin, continues to shuffle.
So Brayden Johnson picking up the tempo. Wilbur needs to pick up the tempo a fair bit last time out for Wilbur. 4th place run in the feature, 5th in the heat race. Last time out, Johnson actually picked up his 2nd feature win of the season in the final to be able to move himself into the championship conversation. Among some of the other notables trying to move up the board to get up to Heber's 52.433. Gavin Baird moving up, Johnson and Howerton trading spots to gain an extra 10th or 2 on the board this time around. They have less than 40 seconds to go to be able to try and move up and before we move behind the paywall for today. And remember, today's heat races, 5 minutes plus 2 laps. Today's finals, 9 minutes. So not 8 minutes, 9 minutes plus 2 laps to close out this season. So an extra minute per race to add to the fun. All that's with these drivers coming up towards their final laps here. And this layout could provide some interesting opportunities for passing. A lot of chances down that straightaway out of the bank curve up towards Sector 3 expected today. But it's also going to be an interesting time to see how the start and finish line fares out with an extra kick to it today as the checker flag waves.
Checkered flag in the air. Heber still quickest here of the morning sessions of 52.433 to put himself on the provisional pole position, but not for long. It's all going to change here. Gavin Baird, a 52.372, finds about 0.2 of a second there on the last lap, and Heber falls back to 2nd. Howerton to 3rd. Johnson 4th. Wilbur, your top 5 drivers here in your senior light qualifying session. What a lap by Baird to pull it out of nowhere, put it on the pole.
Able to rip it away from Heber at the very end of the session on his 5th lap. How about that indeed? So again, to recap, 206 senior light qualifying. Baird, Hebert, Howerton, Johnson, Wilbur in the top 5. Championship competitors 4th and 5th. Colton Kelly qualifying in 6th. AJ London 7th. Keegan Day, Nick Patton, and Ian Stowell round out the top 10. Gunnar Interline in 11th position. Zachary Allen, Dominic Stancombe, and Ryan Waldo round out the entries in this class. So, heat racing coming up in just a few minutes. Just about time we move behind the paywall and get ready for today's races for the heats and the finals. Be sure to tune in here on Kart Chaser as we now get ready to shuffle behind the paywall.